All right, tonight we've all done pins in different ways. Sammy Thomason is going to teach us how to do pins using a pick insert, a Bic insert you can buy for pennies on the dollar.
A dime.
Dime. So you can make pins. And I will challenge you guys to bring pins in so we can give them to Boy Scouts and teach them how to do that at the end of the year. Everyone brings a pin. Everyone that's here tonight brings a pin in next time. Sammy?
Okay. I'm going to pass these around first. Here's some that I've made. Look at that. Ed Huselin's already left. He told me he wasn't going to sneak out, but he did anyway. I started making these pins before I ever did a slimline. I know most everybody's done a slimline at some time or another, but I looked at one of those in the little bag. It had all kinds of parts in it. And I thought, man, I don't know if I want to try this. So I said, you know, this thing here's only got like 4 parts to it. This got to be simpler. You take a, okay, there we go. I'm looking at the camera. This is a big round stick. There we go. We don't want all the rest of it. This is the only part we want. That right there. But now then we got to make the rest of it to fit this. And if anybody can find a use for these, that'll be fine because I've got a pile of them at home. I don't know what to do with them. But they're what? Well, yeah, I guess you could do that. I was thinking more like a, you know, a pea shooter or something like that, maybe. But I have changed the way that I make these pins over time. When I first started out, I had your basic Jet 1014, not very many tools, and so I didn't know how to do it. So the first way to do it with nothing to hold the wood was, well, I got a Morse taper there. I can hit it on a grinder just a little bit and kind of get it round and pound it in there. And that works till you can drill a hole. And I actually used to take the insert and drill a hole that was the diameter of this, and then a step drill to do this, and then fit it. Finally, I just gave up on that and used one drill to drill all of it. It's a little bit easier, mainly because I'm lazy. We'll do it. So let's see what we can start off and make a pin. Did I get my hammer? Where'd my hammer go? Oh, here it is. Now, don't laugh at me for doing this on your lathe, because I do it on my lathe at home too. I beat on it. Makes a good anvil. Now, for you engineers in here, and I'm sure there's some engineers here, no, I didn't center this on both ends. But what I'm going to do is drill a hole to match that insert. And I've done this several different ways in the past. Like I said, I pounded it in there. I've even put a screw drive in there, drill it from this end and hold it. But finally I realized it was just a little bit easier to put a chuck on there. I have to put the chuck adapter on there. This does 2 things. It holds your blank a little bit better. And it also makes more rigid. When you tighten this down, it's almost like you just need the tailstock just... Here we go. Come on. And I think that's probably a little bit better than pounding it in there or using a drive center. And I'm sure everybody has a chuck, maybe. If you don't, you might have to use something else. This is not going to drill very deep, but it'll get me started. Let's see what speed we're going to start out on this thing. On some kind of speed. Okay. I'm just getting started. I use a short drill to start with. Hopefully it'll be straight enough. Because when you use a long aircraft drill in here, sometime or another it's going to wander a little bit. So I'm just going to go the depth of the flutes on here. How long is what? My blank? It's about that long. I don't know. Yeah. Well, I make the pen blanks. If you see the pens going around in the cans, they're different lengths. And one time I thought, well, I'm just going to make one a little bit longer. So I just, how long can you make it? Well, see, it'll be a little bit longer than this one because you're going to have some cutoff here. And then I tried, why not make one just too long? You got it like that, but it looks kind of neat. So why not go to the absurd and make one just bananas too long? But anyway, it's a fun in turning a thin spindle. And they do right. Okay. You set him up for that, didn't you, Larry? Well, you didn't ask the next question somebody usually asks. What size drill bit? Oh, okay. 4 millimeters. I think. I think it's 4 millimeters. I'm not sure. I think it is. It fits. That's all I know. I had to dig through my drill bit file to find one that fit. Most all of the inserts use a common diameter. Whoops. Use a common diameter. Whoops, wrong end. For this section right here. Most of them use a common diameter. Not all of them, but most of them. So now I'm going to go with my aircraft drill. This is the one that can sometimes get a little exciting. And it's still not real straight, but... And you can drill the hole as deep as you feel comfortable. I guess we'll find out how far this will go, won't we? Yeah. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it hits a hard spot in the disc or in the blank, or sometimes it'll hit a soft spot and follow the soft spot. When I used to do it pounding it in there, I had a much higher failure rate. Doing it this way, it's not quite as bad. You don't have near as many failures. I think that's a little too slow. Nobody's going to say anything about the 4 millimeters? Fred, you know what I'm going to say, don't you? Huh? About 2 years ago, I changed my entire shop to metric. I did away with my tape measures. I did away with the measure on my table saw, everything. I changed everything to metric. Why? It's so much easier. Which is bigger? If you got a drill bit, 6 millimeters or 7 millimeters? Which is bigger? 7? Which is bigger, 25/64 or 3/8? Anybody got an answer real quick? 25/64. And then also in drill bits, you've got, let's see, I think somewhere in the 200 range. You have, it starts, I think it's 0.2280 inch diameter drill bit. When you're going up, it goes A, B, C, D. And when you're going down from there, it goes to smaller drill bits, but the numbers go up. Figure that out. I don't know who thought that up, but... And then the metric system just goes 1, 1.1, 2, 2.1, all the way up. Anyway. Who? Yes. But you know what? I still think it's something that being an inch thick instead of 2.7 centimeters. But I'm getting better. Oh, y'all know where I got it. CDC. And if you haven't been there, you got to go sometime. Yep. Mm-hmm. He's got all kinds of drills. Matter of fact, I was there today. Oh, here we go. Okay, now we got a hole drilled in here. How are we going to hold this? I've done this several different ways. I've done it with your regular cone center, but when you put that in there, it kind of messes it up, and when you're putting pressure on it, you may split it. So, a while back, I would turn this down and have the tip of the pin go into a pin mandrel saver, which works pretty good. And then I finally got lazy and made an insert for the drive, the center that comes with your lathe, and I put a plastic insert in it to hold the tip of the pin. Do I have a pen? Let's see. Which will support the end without putting pressure on it. So this is where we're going to go. This is what we're going to use. But first I got to get it down a little bit. Now that I'm not going to put much pressure on that, I want it just enough to hold it. Now, let's get the... No, I've got the hole in it now, yeah. So, whoops, where are we going? Oh, this one's a little bit different. Okay. Now, I'm going to take this down just enough and kind of make my tip so it will fit in this insert. There we go. Let's put the hole up. There we go. Well, that's looking at it backwards to me. Okay. You know what I saw today? Maybe not quite enough. On the way here today, I stopped at McDonald's. They're doing something new. I went in the center door by the counter, and they kind of looked at me a little bit funny. And then I noticed that the owner of the place, at least I guess he was the owner, he came over and locked the door that I came in. And what they wanted people to do, they had another set of doors that was down midway in the McDonald's store. They wanted people to come in that door instead of walking straight into the counter. Down there, they've got these big deals set up where you order stuff yourself, and then it prints out your receipt with nobody at the counter. New thing coming. They still want people to go to the drive-in, though. Okay, now I got that held. Let's see what we can do this thing. I'm going to have to... And let's see, how far do we want to go down? Now you saw the ones I had. I will do a kind of a bulge here, and then taper it down here, and then I will let y'all decide on how much to thin it down. Have you noticed when you use a skew too fast, it puts grooves in it? You can trim it off real fast, but it'll put grooves down it. And then it will tend to follow those grooves. Is anybody checking the weather to see if we've got a tornado coming? We're not near a trailer park, are we? Okay. Oh, okay. Well, I guess that's not too bad. Now it's starting to get a little vibration. What we're doing is just basic spindle. I haven't heard it thunder yet, though. I'm going to keep thinning this down till somebody says stop. Oh, that's no fun. Don't you want to see a Cindy Drozda? Okay. I don't know if I can do that or not. We'll take it, maybe we'll just take it to failure. How about that? Because what I am going to show you in a little bit is is the can still going around? Yes. It's in the back. You'll notice some of those in there have a flutes on them. If y'all want to, I'll show you how I do those. Because it doesn't take very long. It's pretty easy, and I cheat. Sometimes when you're doing this, you can actually pretend you're just making a dowel. I'll show you one way to cheat. It's about time to start cheating. Okay, so we got kind of a torpedo bomb sort of shape. It's sort of smooth, but the next thing I show you is you can't tell anybody, especially anybody that owns a lathe. You did not see this here, but you can take a file and run it across something like this, especially a thin spindle, and I'm not necessarily smoothing it, but the file, when you hit tiny little ripples in there, you can feel the file rock. And if something's not a perfectly smooth curve, you can feel it where you can't feel it with your fingers. It's almost spooky the way it works. But, okay, don't tell anybody you saw me filing, especially anybody from Hunt County. You won't tell? Good. And you do know if you file, you can't do it very long because it doesn't make it round. It will smooth out the little bumps, but what it does is you've got edge grain, flat grain, edge grain, and pretty soon you'll end up going thump, 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 thump. It'll be an oval instead of being round. But this right here, I can feel all the little bumps in it. I can smooth them out. Okay. Now then, do we want to play a little bit of Cindy Drozda? What do you say, John? Go for it. Ugh. Well, I do have insurance. That's for you in the front row. But the speed is not too high. Now you saw that long one I did. You can imagine how much fun that was going down through here. Is that enough, John, or you want more? More. Oh. I knew I shouldn't have asked him. This rest is just a little bit different than mine. My fingers fit under a little bit more and supports the blade a little bit different. More? Huh? Leave it there? You don't want to go more? Oh, well, I want to see. I haven't taken it to failure yet. You know, you almost got to. Yeah. I guess then we call it a weapon. You got to watch out what you call a weapon in Texas. You know, you can walk down the street with a .50 caliber Beretta over your shoulder, but you can't carry a spear. I don't know how that works. Ah, now we're getting a little. Oops, we're getting into the too thin territory now. And no hole has come out yet either, but the hole probably stops about right there. It doesn't go all the way to the end. I don't know, CDC may have a drill. I mean, they may have a 12-inch drill that size. Now, I'm using my finger to balance this on the back side to kind of provide some support for it. And I know I'm holding this skew all wrong, but it's the way I do it. But it hasn't walked yet on me. Alan Lacer would probably be having a cow right now. He'd be saying, no, 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 no. I'm still finding the little ridges in there, although now I'm getting quite a bit of flex in it. I've got to watch out. Yeah, right there. Is that good enough, John? Is that okay? Well, you know, we can't just stop right there. We've got to do something else to it, so I like to put some kind of little tail on it, so I don't know what I'll put on there. Could just chop it off and put a spear point, but I think we really need something on there. Chucks have jaws on them. So we'll put something on the end of it. Maybe we should put something a little outrageous on it too. This is a screwdriver, sorta. Well, Fred, when was it we learned how to make these? When was it we learned how to make these in the club? Yeah. I still use them. I like them. For a little detail work, they're pretty doggone good. And it comes with a handle. Look at that. It's time to get the skew back out again. Uh-oh. Stuff's falling all over. There we go. Anyway, we have I didn't actually. Whoops. Okay, now then we need to fit our insert. Wow, look at that. It's too long. How about that? Let's cut it off. I'm not going to grill it more. Uh-oh, where did that go? Yep, still not quite enough. That went around. Oh, I'm forcing it in there. Anyway, there we go. And it's centered. I didn't quite finish the tip of it, but that is how we make. Can I get it? Faces you? There we go. That's good. That's how you make a stick pin. Now you want to do some different stuff to it? You want to see how to put a hand flute in it, like I did, like that? We can put something like that on it. I'll show you how to do that. Huh? Oh. Yeah. That's hand. It's not very hard. Well, we don't have to drill a hole in it, so let's just put a piece on there. It's attacking me. It's attacking me. Let's see. Here I get to use your lathe for an anvil again. That's pretty close. Uh-oh. It's guaranteed. Oh, there we go. Oh, well, be careful. That has ink in it. I knew it would shoot it somewhere. How are we running on time? Okay. Or a big roar. Don't most of these metal buildings survive tornadoes, though? Most of them? Oh. But at least we're not in Oklahoma City. I think every tornado in the world heads that way. There we go. Since we're not going to make a pin, I'll just kind of make it round. Do y'all have a lot of engineers in your club? Are there a lot of engineers? Not many engineers? Okay, got it. Yeah, that's good enough to show you what I'll do. Of course, I forgot to bring a pencil, so I guess we'll use a marks a lot. So I need to put 4 lines on here about 90 degrees apart. So, there's one. There's one. That's why I asked if there's any engineers in here. They're not going to like my method. Okay, let's see. I don't know how big a twist we want to put in it, so we'll just kind of make it like that. And so I'm just kind of dividing it into sections. Now then I'm going to come back and connect these diagonal this way. Doesn't have to be real great. Doesn't have to be perfect. That's why I asked if there's any engineers in here. They want it all to be 90 degrees. Hmm? Yep. Well, many years ago, I worked at TI right across the street, and there was a guy who had a picture over his desk of an elephant, and it said mouse for mil spec. And I think he was right. Okay, I've got these lines here, these diagonals. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a cut in each one of those lines with this great saw here, which I think it's most flexible saws. You can use a coping saw, any saw you have. I just want to cut it a little ways. I'm just going to follow this line. They're just kind of giving me a guide. To get along here. Okay, let's say I've done one. Let's do another one. And it doesn't even cut real straight, but when I start using a file, I'm going to straighten those up a little bit. You just got to have something to go by. And you can change this twist. You know, you shorten it this way and you make a faster twist. Or you stretch it out, you could make a long, low, lazy twist. You know what a barley twist is? It's similar to this, except a barley twist would be rounded over this way, where this is going to be like that. And I have made barley twists before, but they're a lot more work. And this looks just about as good. Of course, these ink lines are going to show up a little more than a pencil line would too. So I got all of them. Yeah, it looks like all of them. Now then, here we go. A triangular file. And what I do is widen that groove out just a little bit. Yeah, this is just a triangular. You can use a square file. Just something like this that'll widen that groove out a little bit more, so that when you get to the next file, it'll follow the groove. This groove is just not quite enough the way it is. Come on. Okay, now then. These are chainsaw files. And instead of using a rat tail file, I use a chainsaw file because it is constant diameter from one end to the other. So you can make a flute any way you want to with it, but this does it. I'll follow that same groove. This is a small one. You see where I'm going? I'm getting there. You could make a lot. Of course, you could put this flute on anything. And you could make it bigger diameter. And you could put more or less. I'm going to go a little bit bigger on that. And then I even have a bigger one after this one. Can you see it? Yep. And if you want to spend a little bit of money, you can buy a different file that'll even cut it faster than this. I don't think there is a one smaller, this small though. Matter of fact, I'm not even sure what you call it. But this is Iwata. Isn't that what you call it? Iwata? Can you see it? It's a Japanese file. It's extremely sharp. But this, as far as I know, this is the smallest diameter they have. But it has got ring grooves on it that are sharpened, and it'll remove stuff pretty fast. But they are a little pricey. I think this one's in the $30 range. But if you have to do a lot of these, it'd be worth it. A what? I don't know. I've never tried one. It's just with this here, I can bring the grooves together and actually bring them up to a sharp point, like I did on that one I showed you on the demo. That a little slower. I'm sure they would, but I made a set of spindles. There's a kid I helped. I say kid, he's about 40 years old, but he went to school with my daughter. He runs a furniture shop in Greenville, Texas. And so when he has some oddball spindles, well, he'll call me up and I'll make his spindles. And I made 11 spindles for a rocking chair like this that had full twist all the way down. And this is what I used. The first one took about 4 hours and the last one took about 45 minutes. So you learn, as you go along. Probably. But then you're going to put a different, deal on it. I wanted this right here. Did I pass that other one around? No. Here. So I don't have to go all the way through all of it here. That's what it's going to end up looking like. Anyway, so y'all don't want to watch me do all this. There it is going around. Let's do one other little thing here. I can show you. Everybody likes to do a little wire burning, but there's one problem with doing wire burning. When you're doing wire burning, it's hard to get an even spacing. being as I am a lazy guy, I figured out how to do that too. Yep. The past one with some of the pins, no, I didn't. Here's one I was playing with. This is sycamore. Sycamore is gorgeous. And the pin, it almost looks like snake skin. And George will tell you, sycamore, when you try to do flat work with it, just doesn't work. It wants to go every which way. But here's how you cheat on these. If you want to do some even wire rings, this is a tap. So you know what? It's a tap with a pair of ice grips. So what let's get this thing. I don't know if this will go low enough. Yeah. All I'm going to do with this is I'm not going to cut the rings, but I'm going to use them to mark where I want to do the burning. Come on. There we go. Now then, with your handy dandy burner wire, you've got some grooves that will let you have an even spacing. And you can use different size taps, you know, to get a different spacing. I need to crank it up a little bit faster so. Now, could you see trying to get that even grooving just by eye? Wouldn't be very easy. But and then you can take that and put it on your pins. Here's another pin I did. I did it this morning. Got the piece of wood from George Freeman. Spalted pecan. It really made a good looking pin. I would have thought it'd only get one little line through it, but a lot of spalting and it finished good. Everything. Well, any questions? Anything else you want to see? Nothing? Well, we will quit. We can all run from the tornadoes now.